everybody, and hello Thunderfoot, I'm the Happy Cabbie. This is a video response to the Subtle Art of Self-Delusion. Annotations and links down below if you want to see the original video. Secondary title of this one might be just, why do people laugh at Thunderfoot? But of course that's just a joke. Thunderfoot, I do like your videos, and I have of course been a critic of your recent videos on Islam, and you pointed out to a video really wanting to know from your audience why people are all of a sudden giving you so much criticism for your views on Islam, and you're really saying, yeah, but my message is the same that I've done with the creationists, with the scientologists, with all the other stuff. I don't think your message is the same, and I want to show you what we, your audience, sees the difference, especially between your attacks on creationism versus your attacks on Islam. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is one, the debunking. That is the major theme of your Why Do People Laugh at Creationists series. You would a lot of times take a particular video or sometimes a subject, and you would completely debunk every single thing in that video, every single claim. It's a wonderful series. And let me also bring out something to you. It was your videos and also a couple of videos made by Aaron Raw and a few others. See, when I first came onto YouTube, I was a Christian and I was a creationist. It wasn't until I became friends with DPR Jones, and then I started watching some of the other videos that it was creationism. Once I realized that creationism is bullshit, that's when it started to roll. It's like, okay, well, if the Bible is wrong on creationism, what else is the Bible wrong about? So it started. Now, getting back to debunking, why are you making videos against Islam? Well, of course, only you would know that. As a wager, I would hope that your main goal, as far as making videos about Islam, is to convince people to leave the religion of Islam. In my opinion, that was your goal as far as why do people laugh at creationists. You were trying to convince people not to be creationists. And I do hope that your goal in regards to Islam is the same. Getting people to leave the Muslim religion. And that is an admirable goal. Now, when it comes to the Muslim religion, I wrote it down there. I don't know why. But when it comes to the Muslim religion, you're not really debunking the beliefs of the Muslim religion. You are debunking the things about the Muslim religion. For example, you were talking about how they do not allow, criticism. You're talking about like Saudi Arabia. For example, one thing I do want to point out is, I'm sure you've been told this many times, Saudi Arabia is not representative of the Muslim world as a whole. No two countries interpret Sharia law the same way. And, I mean, just even Wikipedia, which of course is not a reliable source, but, I mean, even 5 minutes on Wikipedia could tell you this. Every single country interprets Sharia law differently. Now, Saudi Arabia interprets Sharia law the most extreme, and that's the reason why so many people are afraid of Sharia law, including myself, because we say it could become that if the fundamentalists get enough control and power. But nevertheless, not everybody believes the way Saudi Arabia does. Now, another point that you bring up about the Muslim religion is how they are completely lacking in science and education. And you have correctly pointed out that back in the day, that part of the world was the epicenter of learning and knowledge, and now, due to the spread of Islam, it isn't. And you were correctly right about that. However, that is not a debunking of the religious beliefs. That is a debunking of about the Muslim belief. This is what so many of your audience, myself included, would love to see you start doing. Why do people laugh at Islam or the Quran or something like that? Because in order to get people to leave the Muslim religion, you just can't attack the things about the religion. You have to attack the specific things in their religion. And the Muslim religion has 3 weak points that you can attack. The number one thing is the Quran. There is a lot of things in the Quran that you can attack. Number one, there is a lot of scientific errors in the Quran. Now, just for the lulz, if you were to Google scientific errors in the Quran, one of the things that you will come up with is a website hosted by chicktracks.com. Now, you go in there and they will actually show you all of the scientific errors in the Quran, and they will tell you why these are scientific errors using the Bible. I'm not making it up. It's actually a very funny website. Yes, the Quran is wrong because the Bible says so. It's just comedy gold. You just cannot help but laughing at this. Links down below. Check it out. But getting back to it, yes, there is scientific errors in the Quran, and if you were to go through it, and not just rely on some website like Chick Tracks, but actually get a Quran, read through it, spend maybe like a month, 2 months, 3 months, actually research, going through the thing, reading it. It's an incredible read. But yes, take the time, read the Quran, and find out all the laughable stuff that is in there. The second thing that is about the Quran is how it was comprised. The Quran was written by someone who did not know how to read. He was illiterate. He basically memorized the Quran, told it to a bunch of his followers. A few parts were written down on little scraps and whatever, but for the most part, the Quran was not written until after his death, just like the Bible. The difference is you got these people who are telling you that oral tradition is far more accurate than writing. And this is one thing I don't get. These are the words of God, and nobody wrote this stuff down until the guy died. So anyway, after the guy died, they got all the elders together, and they basically formed the Quran by consensus. Said, yes, this is what Muhammad said, and it's like, okay, this is the official version of the Quran, spread it around. You can really tear that apart if you wanted to. The next thing that you can attack is basically their prophet. In order to be a prophet of God, you really gotta be, you would think, an honorable person. And there are things that the Prophet Muhammad has done that are really questionable practices. And that's another thing that you can go after. Some of it has already been covered, but like I said, you gotta go in there and check it out. The third thing that you can go after actual verses in the Quran. Now you want to make sure that you do this differently than your Thunderfoot reads the Bible. It's not the type of book where you can just pull out a passage and say, look at this. The Quran is written very, very differently than the Bible. It's not written in chronological order. And then of course you also got the thing of abrogation, which I'm mispronouncing. But you gotta take a look at it, and you got to remember, it's like, okay, what happened to this, what happened to this, what happened to this, and you got to read it as a whole. Even though you got that, there is some really wacky verses in the Bible, especially when it comes to stuff like, okay, for example, where does semen come from? Look that up. That's some pretty funny stuff. So attack what is actually making up the Muslim religion. The concern that a lot of your critics are having right now is that you're spreading xenophobia, which I don't think is your intention, but that is how your video is being perceived. And that is completely different than your approach with the creationists. Your approach with the creationists was never, it's like, these guys are dangerous. It is, look at the funny, silly stuff that these creationists believe. And if you were to do the same thing with the Muslim religion, looking at all the crazy, silly, wacky stuff that the Muslims believe, I think that will get a positive response from your audience. I do hope that you take these words to heart. Thank you for watching, and if you're not subscribed to Thunderfoot, like I said, check him out. Normally a great channel. I just happen to have a disagreement over his recent videos. Have a good day.